Hey folks, I'm Ken.
And I'm Jeff. We're the founders of YourMorningConstitutional.com.
See, the concept started as a way just to reach out to folks with educational and entertaining videos.
Now that we're getting a little attention and feel like we have our feet under us, we're moving in a bold new direction. A recent article by Kenneth Vogel of the Politico titled Tea Partiers Turn on Each Other conveys a report card on how we, as the Tea Party movement, are doing. Here are some quotes.
After emerging out of nowhere over the summer as a seemingly potent and growing political force, the Tea Party movement has become embroiled in internal feuding over philosophy, strategy, and money, and is at risk of losing its momentum.
The grassroots activists driving the movement have become increasingly divided on such core questions as whether to focus their efforts on shaping policy debates or elections, work on a local, regional, state, or national level, or closely align themselves with the Republican Party.
They're fractured at the organizational level. I think mainly because there are a lot of people who have not had managerial experience who all of a sudden are thrust into the limelight and become intoxicated with it. And when a potential rift comes up, instead of handling it and maybe agreeing to disagree, they splinter and go off in their own.
It's nice to hear that we will fail in our efforts over egos. In reading the areas of division, I can only laugh at how inane the reasons for argument are, especially when it seems that all the methods of trying to bring about change are all valid concerns. It's a bit like generals arguing over whether to crush the enemy by land, sea, or air.
Sun Tzu was an infamous Chinese general that lived around 400 BC. The reason he gained infamy during his time was because he never lost, irregardless of how strong and how vast his enemies may have been. Before he disappeared from public life, he wrote the book The Art of War. One memorable quote from his book was, "When your enemy is destroying himself, do not intervene."
Has anyone noticed how quiet the progressives have become about this movement since the little bit of coverage they gave it over the summer?
Another quote from that same article states that the organizational chaos, combined with a widening apathy at the edge of the movement, has produced a growing consensus among local, state, and national Tea Party leaders that for the movement to evolve from the loose conglomerate of fired-up activists into a sustainable bloc with the power to shape the GOP and swing elections, it will require emergence of a national leader, group, or structure. Well, that sounds like a hell of an idea.
Yeah, we just didn't think it would be us.
Now, in the same article, Ned Ryan, who's the president of American Majority, which is a nonprofit group that's conducted some organized training with the Tea Party activists, he said, "The next 3 to 6 months are going to be critical in determining what's going to happen with the Tea Party movement. Are they going to be a bunch of fingers, or are they going to come together to be a fist?"
If the only thing that interests the egos of this movement is to be a bunch of fingers, then I have a finger I would like to show you.
So we're changing our mission for this website to unite the Tea Party movement under limited principles to help focus and galvanize the movement. We recognize what history has shown us.
Without unity, every effort fails. India, which thus far has had the only bloodless revolution in history, started as a grassroots movement. It was not until Mahatma Gandhi rose and galvanized the spirits of 200 million people that they succeeded. The American Revolution experienced the same thing. It began in small towns as hushed whispers, and in a few years, the leaders showed themselves, and you all know the rest.
See, at this rate, we don't have years to organize. Those trying to fundamentally change our country are moving swiftly.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Don't you realize that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and the others had petty differences? You see, they were able to put the interest of the country above their personal pride.
Our way to unite the movement is to develop basic principles and goals that we can all unite under.
These principles and goals are: the Constitution is the greatest governing charter ever composed by man.
All legislation should be considered through the prism of the founding documents, those being the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights.
Through misinterpretation of the Constitution by the judiciary, unconstitutional lawmaking by the legislature, and a push toward a more concentrated and unchecked power held by the administrative branch, our government has been derailed.
But other than the three branches of government, we're okay though, right?
Free market capitalism is the established economic system of America and the best way to promote individual responsibility while maintaining liberty and justice for all.
Free market capitalism has all but been extinguished by the overbearing intervention by central, state, and local government.
We will push back against the central government to reestablish states' rights.
We will strive to end the Federal Reserve Central Bank.
We will develop a structure to reestablish a new government based on the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights in the event of a total collapse of the current system.
We have a sincere admiration for the Founding Fathers and the brilliant system of government they established for our great country.
Okay, now follow me here. That system involved limited authority granted to the central government. Most governing responsibility was granted to the states and the local governments. And ultimately, personal responsibility, which of course is bestowed on the individual, was the greatest.
We think it only appropriate that we unite the movement in the same way. The limited central government is comparable to these limiting principles and goals that we can all unite under.
Beyond these limited principles, there are no doubt thousands of other principles held dear to many of us, as well as goals that different groups are championing. That's why every group is vital to the movement.
We all know the inefficiency and failure that results when a centralized power tries to micromanage our country. It's not possible, and frankly, that's why the Founding Fathers never intended it to be that way. We the people of Brunswick County, looking out for the freedoms of folks in southeast North Carolina. The Treasure Coast Tea Party movement to be looking out for the folks of St. Lucie County, Florida. The Sioux Falls 912 Project must stand for liberty for the folks of Sioux Falls.
We need statewide groups like the Texas Tea Party Patriots, the New Hampshire Tea Party Coalition, and the California Tea Party looking out for the folks in their states.
Not only the local and state groups, but the larger national organizations are vital to keep this movement focused and determined. We are not looking to reinvent the wheel. Groups like the 912 Project, the Tea Party Patriots, Freedom Works, and American Solutions have all done great things to help build the strength of this movement.
The two of us are not trying to manage all of that. You know, as our president would say.
Answering that question with specificity, is above my pay grade.
The true leaders will rise to the top, and in fact, they may already be rising with folks like Ron Paul, Jim DeMint, Michelle Bachmann, Sarah Palin, Glenn Beck, Dick Armey, and Newt Gingrich, championing the cause. We all have our own gifts and talents, and we all add something to the movement.
What we will do in the coming months is bring these groups together so that the message can be refined and focused, which will allow this movement to take back the country we love and restore it to something that the Founding Fathers would be proud of.
Please see the additional information below, which provides some of the logistical information to begin the networking process to turn the fingers into a fist.
We thank you for your interest, your passion, and your hard work. Thanks for listening. Now let's spread the word.